Hey there, this is Patrick with Dallas Hockey Hangout, coming to you after a Stars 2-1 loss to the Minnesota Wild in overtime. Full disclosure, I did an entire podcast today with my mic muted, so I'm doing a quicker one, like literally right after trying to ship it out. So hopefully I should be a little bit more eloquent and succinct. So we're going to get right to it. Sorry for the quick one, but I wanted to get this one out, and the other one was longer. And with the big Minnesota game, I had to do reaction, and then we have Vegas tonight. So hopefully do a little bit longer one. Anything I forget about right now, I'll do then. So yeah, let me just run down my notes again. It feels a little weird to me to be literally having the same conversation with myself again, but that's why we do this, right? I really am doing it for me and the anyone that's come aboard for the ride. But yeah, just get right to it. How should we be viewing this team? It's as a team that has got 3 points out of four against the two top teams in the division. And Dallas was outplayed against Colorado and got 2 points. And I thought overall outplayed Minnesota. It was much closer, but I thought they outplayed Minnesota and could have easily gotten the 2 points and didn't. So it tends to average out. How should we be viewing this team? As a team that's still on like a heck of a run right now? And they did make headway, as tough as it was on Colorado. They're just 3 points back, but Colorado has 2 games in hand, and Dallas has a harder schedule. So as much as I'm sure, I think the funny quote was that they asked the players or whether or not they were looking at the standings. They said no, and I guess it's like plastered everywhere in the locker room. I just think that's funny. And what they mean by no is they're not constantly looking at it. They might talk about it, but they're not thinking about it. They're just going out there and playing hockey. They can't control what Colorado or Minnesota does. They can in these games, obviously, and they know how important they are. I think it was interesting if you saw Robertson's post-game press conference. I don't think he was very happy with himself. It was him that kind of got lost in overtime on that goal. We'll touch that in a bit. But yeah, I think Dallas played well. And I think largely the game boiled down to special teams and goaltending, which it oftentimes does. It oftentimes does in the playoffs. And, between two teams, like that wasn't surprising. And also, like, just from a hockey fan standpoint, like the game against Colorado and Minnesota, both those games have been really great. I think all three teams have shown that they treated it like a playoff game. They played like it. They were hitting like it. There was no shifts taken off. This wasn't like, hey, this is just a regular season game that doesn't mean anything. No, this meant something. So I'll be excited to see those games later in the season here in a couple weeks. But yeah, Andre made some good saves early in the first, and I thought he was just outstanding this game. I think that I have plans on yeah, I guess maybe I haven't done a podcast since then, but yeah, I'm just getting back into writing. And if you want to check out my stuff, you can just find me on Substack. But I was just talking about my experience covering Stars games before and how I had and feel like the luckiest Stars fans slash journalist being able to cover Mike Modano's last home game as a Dallas Star and just how much that meant to me. So if you're at all interested in what that's like, you can find it on my Twitter profile or just search my name and Substack. You'll find it. Hope to be doing more of that. And the next one I plan on doing is just talking about how it seems as though Jake is ready for the playoffs because, again, we'll get into the game by game here or the period by period, and Jake's last 7 games, he's averaging save percentage of .931, goals against average of 1.8. He's 5-0-2 in those 7 games, and then you can going back to the Olympic break, he's 6-0-2 since the break, and then going back even further than that, when's the last time he lost against Tampa? So he's 2 in his last 12 games. Do y'all hear that? 12-0-2. And somehow the conversation is that he's not having a great season. It seems like as though he's playing really well right now. So he made several saves early in the game, and I thought, it was just it's always good to see him like ready because uh, he's got a knack for giving up the first goal on the first shot. Not anything consistent. I haven't really noticed it this year, which is a credit to him. I feel like he's cleaned that part of it up. But that said, just Dallas has been playing better in the first periods as of late. And I think that has contributed to how well they've been playing lately, is just how much better they're starting off games. So Robertson gets Dallas on the board first on the power play, in which Dallas is 1 for 5. I'll touch on that later. But, Robertson has got the puck at the high left circle, swoops down, decided he doesn't like what he sees, kind of loose around again, and is headed down that left circle again and is able to shoot. Goes off, Middleton skating in. And yeah, if you give a goal scorer like that kind of time, he's gonna pick you apart. And I can't help but feel as though Robertson was just really trying to put it into the feet right there of everyone and just hoping something happens and it goes in. I feel like that was his hockey IQ that led to that. Um, you let him inside the circles, he's going to score a lot of goals. That was his 38th goal of the season. So, pretty sure to hit the 40 mark, and don't give a goal scorer like that, that kind of time and space. And as evidenced by the Tarasenko in overtime, like Robertson overcommits on the boards there, and Tarasenko's left all alone. And look, that guy's a professional goal scorer. He's scored a lot of goals. And I'm gonna live do something fun. My gut when thinking about how many goals he had scored was that it was in the forwards. So we're gonna find out together how many goals he's scored in his it's like total. Okay, a little lower, but he's had 324, which is not nothing. 700 points, 895 games, about to hit 1,000 games. Tarasenko's a bona fide scorer, so you're going to leave him wide open. He's going to pick his corner on Andre. I didn't really put that goal on him in OT. I know I'm skipping around here as a casualty of doing this again, but yeah, second period, we'll just get into Robo had a chance to push the lead to 2-0, gets off the post and didn't really pan out the way I'm sure Stars wanted, just largely the game, but Dallas had it. And in that Colorado game, there were moments in which Dallas could have extended the lead and felt like it might have been a much different game if Dallas could have been up 2-0 and locked down defensively, which they've shown that they can do. So yeah, Minnesota gets on the board, and what a just like spectacular play from Quinn Hughes. Is about midway through the second, and he's just patient in his own zone and just whips a puck to Bobby Brink. Has a really good hockey name. Bobby Brink gets a goal. He shows his speed and just a really good move on Ottinger. I was really impressed with how he made him fake out there. Yeah, this is a big goal for him. And yeah, I mean, it was a close game throughout much of the the rest of the game from there on out. Yeah, that it's only been 5 games for Brink, and he's got 3 points with Minnesota. Seems like that was a good addition for him. And on the last pod that didn't go through, I was lauding Quinn Hughes. I mean, the guy's just so special. He's going to be such a threat in the playoffs. He's got such great hockey IQ. He's got such great feet, hands. You see him in OT. He's got the dark green light to stay out there as long as possible. And he's going to be a pain in someone's side come playoff time because he's a game breaker. This is a good question, Stars fans. Would you rather have Cale Makar or would you rather have Quinn Hughes? Because my gut says Quinn Hughes. Maybe that's just because I like him a little bit more. American guy. He was big, obviously, for USA in the Olympics. It's tough that he's going to be a thorn in Dallas' side now, but he's just an incredible player. What an incredible pass. So great move by Brink. Third, Andre gets that couple pad save sequence or 3 save sequence on Zuccarello to start the third. As much we were talking about Robo hitting the post, and that could have been 2-0. Well, it could have been 2-1 Minnesota, and they're playing at home. It could have been much different game. But then, Dallas gets its opportunities on the power play. 6-minute total in the third period. that didn't really, uh, pan out for Dallas. Special teams and goaltending, they had their opportunity to win the game, and Minnesota's penalty kill was just too strong. But that said, Dallas did get his chances. Wyatt had a great chance in the slot. Duchesne, another great chance in the slot at the beginning of this 4 minute. Dallas had its chances. They were moving the puck well, puck in the zone, just the world's best penalty killer in this game. Gustafsson, he was the difference. And so, yeah, just trying to be a little bit more expedient about this one. I'm also just really disappointed that my 20, 30-minute pod just didn't work out before. Maybe next time I'll know to check that my mic is engaged. But 3 stars, I got to, I don't want to forget this. The OT goal, Tarasenko, Dallas overcommits all 3 people on the boards, and he's wide open. He's just not going to miss wide open like that. I'm kind of surprised he didn't go for a move, but Tarasenko's a shooter. If I'm not mistaken, in the shootouts, he shoots. I don't think he makes a ton of moves. But yeah, I mean, we'll do some playoff previews, especially as the season dwindles. But Minnesota, obviously, takeaway from this game is if these two play in a series, it's going to be a 7-game series. It's going to be close. They're going to be some overtime games. So I think it's going to boil down to special teams and goaltending. And we saw how that kind of panned out in this game, and how if you're on the wrong side of it, you can lose. So Dallas is on the wrong side of the power play, even though they were 1 for 5. They had the big opportunity in the third to win the game, and they didn't. So yeah, 3 stars, Gustafsson. We'll do Bobby Brink, even though Tarasenko, the GWG. And then 3rd star, I'm going to do Andre. I thought he hung Dallas in and was their best player, and I think he's just really rounding into form right now. And I'm really excited thinking about getting this version of Ottinger in the playoffs. And I think it's so tough because everyone's so critical of him because he hasn't won a Stanley Cup, or Dallas hasn't, made it to one with him starting, which just seems crazy. 2020 is so long ago, but yeah, that was not Ottinger and net there. I believe that was Antti Niemi's show against and Hudobin. Why did I say Niemi? I think he was backup that year, but that was Hudobin against Tampa, and he had a great run. And just Tampa obviously was a better team. That's kind of how I felt about Ottinger last year. I thought he played pretty well, and then just ran into a good Edmonton team and special teams and goaltending, right? So yeah, Dallas has got another. This is a quick turnaround. I heard the players, or at least Robertson, note that he felt like it meant something that they were able to get home early. So maybe it won't be as much of a back-to-back issue. But yeah, look, Dallas plays Vegas, which is hanging on for its life right now. They've got 76 points with 12 games left to play. Wildcards are Utah and Nashville out of the Central at 78 and 73. Below that, the Kings, Kraken, and Sharks 72, 71, 70, like with 69, 69, and 68 games played. Like they are still in it, those teams. And if Vegas keeps falling right now, they could fall out of the playoffs. They've lost their last 3. They're 3-7. Their goals differential on the season is +2. For reference, Dallas is +51. So, and then that said, I'd mentioned they lost their last 3. Now they're against good teams. Predators are in the playoffs right now, currently. Mammoth are in the playoffs currently. Sabres are leading the East right now. But they got shut out 2 of those games. So against the Mammoth, 4-0, Sabres 2-0. They're in a bit of a rut right now. I would imagine that it's going to be pretty chippy against Dallas in this game. Did want to note Mark Stone is playing, so watch your ACLs and MCL Stars players. I joked last time that these 2 teams played that Dallas should just consider forfeiting this game, considering the long-term health of where they want to go. I'm half joking, but man, watch out, because this is a rivalry game, and I expect it to get chippy. I expect it to get dirty. I expect there to be fights. I expect Mark Stone to do some dumb stuff. So I trimmed that down. I was on a bit more of a rant. I don't think I'll ever forgive Mark Stone for taking out Miro's knee like that. I think that hurt Dallas in the long run, even though he came back. It's just reckless play, just a really reckless, dangerous play, dirty play, unnecessary in the open ice, all for a loose puck. I just don't understand that play from last year at all. And it's going to sit with me for a while. That's the fan side of me. The journalist side of me says it's a fast game, and stuff is going to happen. And I would also note that I think most people will point out that Mark Stone knew who he was going up against in that interaction there. And I think Mark Stone knew what he was doing on that play. So I'll have my Hawkeyes out for 61 tonight, but I hope the Stars are looking out for him, because I would expect him to be on his game, and just Vegas for it to be on its game, given how they're not playing well. And yeah, they're really only 6 games above 500, depending on how you look at that. But 31, 25, and 14, just really not having a great year. And I think if it was a 1 through 8, situation, which is the hot topic right now, I think we'd be talking about them potentially not making the playoffs. We'll see. Dallas has got its hands full. At Patrick Hayslip on Twitter, Dallas Hockey Hangout at gmail.com if you have any comments or concerns. Hopefully the second time around was a little bit better. Talk to you guys after the Vegas game. So Dallas loses 2-1 to Minnesota in overtime. They play Vegas the next game, so should be a good game. Talk to you guys then.